So it's 1 a.m. and I'm just having some thoughts here. Let's play this again. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this to play without the audio, um, so it doesn't overpower my voice. Uh, but the point of it is of this video is don't do things to seek acceptance, and don't do things to make other people feel accepted. I think that's a big differentiation between a confident and secure society versus uh, insecure and immature society, in which is consistently seeking validation, not only from the emotions and social interactions of other people, and then the mirror, right? The social construct of expectation, if I'm going to use that language. I think that's a hard thing for a lot of extroverts to accept and to understand. Is that um, the solitude is a nightmare for a lot of these people, and they surround themselves with an echo chamber of like-minded individuals, and they never seek anything further than that's satisfaction. That's like the nightmare of repetitious conversations that we call small talk, when you have nothing else to talk about and you're too afraid to make the jump into a conversation that is more interesting and is makes you vulnerable and the other person vulnerable, exposing you and the other person not only to their insecurities but yours as well. And the fine art of conversation is something that, arguably has gone to the wayside because we don't spend a lot of time reading classical literature, or we don't understand the duality or the triplicate or even the quadruple or quintuple or sextuplet or septuplet or octuplet or like however it goes of meanings in words, especially as it goes without saying, of the context and the subcontext. And, the subcutaneous incision that is the evisceration of the truth. It closest to the heart. It cuts closest to the heart. We make a lot of compromises in our everyday lives, trying to accommodate other people's feelings or what they're comfortable with or what we think they're comfortable with. We don't want to rock the boat too much because of this fear of isolation or this fear of being ostracized. But a person who lives in fear is a person who lives in a prison. And a person that only listens to other people is in a prison of their own design. It takes true grit to be an independent person, to have a degree of individualism. And I could speak volumes about the trends that Western society has gone through in the past 15 years and where that has led us, especially concerned with propaganda and surgical intervention so that people find validation of their feelings to meet their physical interpretations and representations of the self in the mirror so as to be perceived as valid by other people. But that is completely backwards and not just logically false, but ethically, undeniably evil. It is the corruption. It is the corruption. And I think that in order for society to advance, for us to become better people, we have to be more disagreeable. If you don't like the conversation, end it. If you don't like the deal, don't take it. If you don't like the meal, stop eating it. It's fairly simple to become an intellectual. And as the joke goes, an intellectual is a person who has found something more interesting to preoccupy themselves with than sex. Now, I'm captivated again by this AI animation. You know, people are afraid of this, but it's just another tool in the toolbox. That's how I think about it. I think it's situational, and I don't see any AI or any computer generated personality asking for validation or asking if it's loved or if it's wanted. You don't see it, and that's the reflection of ourselves, not necessarily of its creators, because it's only what we feed it. You don't see the AI complaining about its suffering or how other people suffer. You don't see it making finite arguments to justify its own existence. It's just there, and it doesn't apologize for it. So what am I getting at here? What's the point of this video? A dramatic pause. I think the point is I want you, the viewer, if you do ever watch this, the 120, actually 119 subscribers that I have right now. It used to be 121, but I'm not preoccupied with such a thing. I want you to ask yourself, what gives me validation? Who gives me validation? And if the answer is anything but yourself or a higher power, then you need to ask more questions to reorganize and reprioritize the things that you hold as the core essentials of your life. I think that's the most valid advice I could ever give. Because I have suffered. And I will continue to suffer as I make sacrifices. Especially when other people didn't believe in me, or didn't trust me, or wanted to see me fail. But I don't mind being alone. And I don't mind having lost. I don't mind the silence or the lack of validation. Do I desire it? At times, yes. But am I doing it solely for this purpose? Absolutely not.